We're using candles and solar lamps for lighting, and I have a little gas cooker to use for cooking facilities.
Yeah. So to be clear, that wasn't a natural disaster. That was their power and water being cut off deliberately. So what exactly are their rights, and what can other Australians do if they find themselves in a battle with their own body corporate? To break this down, we're joined now by Laura Boz in Brisbane. She is head of the Queensland Strata Community Association. Good morning to you, Laura. Let's start at the very beginning here. Can you tell us what exactly is a body corporate and how much power do they actually have?
Sure. So a body corporate is formed when say a developer wants to build a block of units on a lot. That title is then subdivided up into a number of titles, and all the owners of those, so if you buy a unit, you become a part of the body corporate. And sitting under that body corporate is a range of legislation which helps to manage the body corporate and assist the body corporate in what their duties are. So essentially the body corporate then becomes responsible for maintaining the building, any levies that need to be paid. There's a body corporate committee that's generally formed, and every state has its own body corporate legislation. So there are nuances within Australia around body corporate law.
And anyone who's been in a strata committee can know they can be tricky things to navigate, a lot of personalities and different interests involved. In this particular community, what's happening?
So this particular community is incredibly unique, and what I would like to say at the outset is that this does not happen in body corporate generally. What we've got here is a situation that has really festered for many years, and it is Coorang Cove was established under a couple of very old style body corporate pieces of legislation. So we've got what is called the MUD Act, which is for mixed use development, which we've got what is called the main body corporate or the community body corporate. And if you can picture in this case an octopus, so you've got the head, which is this community body corporate, which is the MUD Act, and then sitting underneath that is a range of body corporates under what's called the BUGDA, which is a different act. So the main body corporate at the top has responsibility for the electricity, for the water, for the resort, for the marina, for the essential services and utilities. And feeding up into that have been all of these smaller body corporates that effectively pay levies and charges up. And what has happened here in this particular case is actually really sad. There has been a situation where the body corporate, say the eco resort or some of these other areas, have not been developed at the pace or to the extent that they were intended. And what has happened has been this debt burden, because obviously the utilities and all of these things have to be paid and the levies still have to be paid. And a debt burden has carried itself up to the head body corporate. And of course, one of the failings of the old style body corporate legislation has been around dispute resolution. And what that has turned into is just a myriad of court battles over costs, over who owes what, over what is owed, and it's become an incredibly unfortunate situation.
And then you've got the little people, if you like, who have already paid their fees to the first body corporate, and those then haven't been passed on, and they're the ones who are caught at the bottom of this. We know the government is stepping in, providing them with some water and some fuel. What is your general advice to Australians who live in a property that comes under part of a body corporate? How can you keep yourself from falling into a situation like this?
Well, look, there's a couple of things. The first is, and this is something that we see certainly through SCA, is around just understanding what your body corporate is and what your obligations are and how they work. For the most part, body corporates can work really well. They are a way for you all to manage your communities. They are a way to maintain and ensure that your community and your asset, and our home is our largest asset. So if you're an owner of an entity in a body corporate levies are a good thing. They mean that your asset is being maintained. The second thing is, aside from taking an interest, is ensuring that you have really good support from a strata manager who knows what they're doing. So, you know, we're looking here at a case where there's very, very complex legislation that's involved. And I know that, you know, strata managers who are accredited through the Strata Management, Strata Community Association are, you know, they're trained, they are kept abreast of the current legislation and all the changes, and they work a lot in dispute resolution. So they can really help a body corporate where an issue does arise to be able to manage it in a way that is amicable before it gets to a point like this, which is very adversarial.
Well, they can be difficult to find, so if you can find a good strata manager, hang on to them. Laura, thank you so much for your time